Good morning. My name is Marian A. Alipodin, one of your students from MBA 104. I research and chose the forms of business in Canada. Before I proceed, Canada is located in the northern part of Northern America, and it is consists or divided into four main regions. First, from the western, it consists of Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, Saskatchewan. In Central, you can find Ontario and Quebec. Third is the Atlantic, wherein you can also find New Brunswick, Prince Edward Islands, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland and Labrador, and lastly, the Northern. So this comprises of the three territories, which is the Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut. Canada consists of three territories, which can be found in northern region, and 10 provinces. So these territories, they are receiving power and authority from the Constitution Act of 1867, or the British North America of 1867. On the other hand, the provinces are administered, or the powers are delegated to them by the Parliament of Canada. I'm going to provide you some examples of the companies in Canada. So there is Manulife. So it's a multinational banking. They also offer financial services, insurance carrier. Manulife is the largest insurance concern in Canada. We also have Air Canada. It is the world's eighth largest passenger airline by fleet size. Royal Bank of Canada. This is a Canadian multinational financial services company and the largest bank in Canada. Magna International. So they are the largest automobile parts manufacturer in North America by sales of original equipment parts, and one of the Canada's largest company. We also have Neil Wychick. This is an example of cooperatives located in downtown Toronto and Ontario. It is a student residence with over 700 rooms accommodating students of many colleges and universities in the city. There's also the A&W, Aldo, Olin Brewery. Next, there are four types of business in Canada. We have sole proprietorship, partnership, corporation, and cooperatives. First, for the sole proprietorship, they are the simplest form of business. It is owned by individual. There is no legal separation between owner and business. It is also called the extension of profit. The startup capital may come from their savings and personal loan. They also have limited liabilities. The taxes are solely filed as personal tax. So, for the registration in Quebec and British Columbia, no need to register the business names unless they are going to use a different name. In Ontario, it needs to register at the company's branch of Ministry of Consumer and Business Services, while in Nova Scotia, it needs to register at Nova Scotia Registry of Joint Stock Company. Next, we do have partnership. This is a business type created between two or more individuals. The financial resources are combined like skills, labor, and property. All partners share same risk but may or may not equally share business profit or losses. Taxes are filed like a sole proprietorship. They also have unlimited liabilities. It is moderate to start up a business, and the operations are within provinces. It is also difficult to raise funds since they also have like limited savings or limited capitals. In setting up a business partnership in Nova Scotia, Quebec, and British Columbia is the same process as sole proprietorship. There are also three types of partnership. There is a general partnership. This is all individuals have equal control over the business and make decisions together. They are also jointly liable for debts. There is no formal filing requirements as they are governed by a specific provincial legislation which sets out the rules governing a partnership obligation. Next, we do have limited partnership. One partner decides to agree to be a partner, in most cases for funding, but don't want to be a part of the day-to-day operations. The business can continue even if one partner leaves. So, this limited partnership consists of one general partnership and one limited partnership. So, the partner cannot also exceed liability more than the capital contributed. The third type of a partnership is the limited liability partnership. They are not responsible for debts, obligations, or liabilities of the business resulting to the negligence of the other partner, employees, or agents of the business. In Alberta, the limited liability partnership are only available for lawyers, accountants, doctors that needs to be approved by the provincial corporate registry. On the other hand, in Ontario, only chartered accountants and lawyers can file as a form of limited liability partnership. The third forms of business in Canada is a corporation. The ownership that creates a distinct entity separated from its owners or shareholders. The shareholders are only liable for the unpaid portion of shares owned. They also have limited liabilities for shareholders. It is expensive to set up and has a high level of regulations. There's a separate entity for personal and a corporate for tax filing. In addition to that, corporation is being handled by the directors. So just in case if the director leaves the company, the business will continuously operate. So the directors are responsible for all obligations of the company, including debts, any problems that would arise, especially related to the corporation. So no owner of the corporate business held personally liable for its debts, obligations, or acts of the business company. There are two types of corporation. One is being handled by the federal. So this gives the company the right to operate under its corporate name throughout the entire Canada. Second, there is a provincial corporation. So this is only limited to a specific jurisdiction or a specific provinces or territories. So as the requirement for the director's residency, so majority of the territories do not require directors to be a resident. However, in Alberta and Saskatchewan needs to be at least 25% of the Canadian resident. The last type of forms of business in Canada is cooperative. So they are legally incorporated business owned and controlled by its members. Members share ownership and decision making. It can be set up as a profit or non-profit organization. So the principles are democratically as one member is equal to one vote. They also have limited liabilities. They are also responsible for profit distribution. It also has a long-term decision-making process. They have a very extensive record keeping. So the participation on cooperatives are mainly for all members in order to succeed. If you have a less incentive to invest, of course, you also need to have more capital. There are also 5 types of cooperatives. So one is consumer cooperative, co-workers cooperative, producer cooperative, multi-stakeholder cooperative, and a worker shareholder cooperative. Let's discuss the first type of cooperative. It's the consumer cooperative. They provide their members with goods and services for their personal use. So, for example, food, credit unions, housing, insurance cooperatives. Second, there is a co-worker cooperative. The purpose of these cooperatives is to provide their members with work by operating an enterprise. The cooperatives are owned by their employee members. So, for example, these are related to forestry, leisure, production and manufacturing, tourism, communications and marketing, and etc. The third type is the producer cooperative. Some cooperatives process and market their members' products and services directly, while others may also sell the input necessary to their members' economic activities. So, for example, it involves with agriculture cooperatives, pooling of equipment, advisory services. Fourth, there is a multi-stakeholder cooperative. The membership of these cooperatives is made of different categories of members who share a common interest in the organization. So, example of these are home care services, health services, and community services. Lastly, there is a worker shareholder cooperative. These are incorporated cooperatives that hold partial ownership of the business in which the co-op's members are employed because of its share capital, and the cooperative may participate in the management of the business, and the workers may influence organization. So the examples are for production and manufacturing and technologies. In summary, what I've discussed in the types of business in Canada, it is also similar to other countries. However, since all countries have their own regulations, everything needs to be strictly followed. From choosing a form of business ownership, choosing a business name, and steps for registration. Those forms of businesses are beneficial for everybody, from sole proprietorship, partnership, corporation and cooperatives, and of course consumers. I hope you also learned something from our discussion today. Thank you.